commitment to the sport before her public advocacy of it, something that doubtless has driven the sport's popularity and attracted a great number of fans. Just a little bit of what Joe Smith had to say there from the BHA.
Well, Hugh, let's stick with the horse theme, because TalkSport's Deputy Head of News Alex Dibble has been speaking with our racing correspondent Rupert Bell about the Queen's fascination with horses. And Alex started by asking Rupert how he's feeling given today's news.
It's incredibly sad. It is an end of an extraordinary era. And you think how long she had been on scene to the whole country post-Second World War. It really is a seismic moment for this country. It is desperately sad, but hopefully we can now celebrate a life extraordinarily well lived for her country. Right from the early days, living through the Second World War, right to the very end, she has seen so much, and she brought a sense of calmness to all the change that we saw. It wasn't without its complications for her, in the sense that there were good times. Back in the 90s it was complicated, but overall her commitment to this country is a lesson to us all. The longest serving monarch in our history, and it really is an end of an extraordinary era, and we will miss her, make no mistake.
Over the next few weeks and months, no doubt, we'll be reflecting on her life in incredible detail. So there's so many things that we could talk about, but I know you personally have a foot in the horse racing world, and you know an awful lot about it, so I wanted to ask you about her love of horses, which was one of the things that really defined her, wasn't it? When did it begin?
When she was a young girl, and you see pictures of her riding at Windsor Great Park, riding ponies. So her horses were her comfort zone. Look, and I'm deeply lucky. My brother trained for her, and a real privilege for him. So I do know that horses, in all shapes, not just the racing, but in all facets, the horse was a very important part of her life. The racing, yes, may be the high-profile one. Remember, in the 50s, she was champion owner, leading owner. But then the world sort of changed, and other people took over. But throughout her life, racing was an absolutely integral part. It was her release, her hobby, her way of forgetting the trials and tribulations of being the head of state. Racing would be the thing that she would enjoy. And I do know, even her memory of all her races throughout her life, just extraordinary. And I remember once at Ascot one day, a jockey went up to receive a prize on her behalf. She suddenly, well into her 90s, regaled him about the 6 or 7 winners that this particular jockey had ridden for her. And he's thinking, I can't remember. But she knew. And she then was talking, hind legs, just kept on going about, well, you rode that one, but you could see what it meant. So she would remember even the lowly winners. And yes, she had some very good horses. And being at the Ascot for the Ascot Gold Cup when Estimate won was, from a racing fan, just an extraordinary moment, because Royal Ascot meant so much to her. She knew everything that was going on there, and would be wanting to be briefed about how the racecourse was going to be redeveloped, what plans were in place for this year's royal meeting or whatever.
And this was in 2013, for people who might not know, when she's had decades and decades of horse racing experience, and the Gold Cup comes around in 2013, and remind us what happens.
Well, a horse called Estimate won, and it ridden by Ryan Moore, trained by Sir Michael Stark. The Ascot Gold Cup is the highlight of the Royal Ascot meeting. The traditional was always viewed as the big one. It's on what they call Ladies' Day, and it's sort of like the big one. And it was so wonderful to see. And the pictures of her when that horse is crossing the line and winning, she didn't look like a head of state. She just basically looked like, well, that's my horse, and just you could see what it meant. And actually, it didn't matter which horse it was of hers that won. She'd probably be feeling the same sense of enjoyment if it was at a lowly race, say, at Nottingham. And, and that would be. And I know for a fact my brother absolutely loved ringing her up and shooting the breeze about racing. And it would be the same with all her trainers. But it's not just in racing. She also had a huge role, the Windsor Horse Show. And she'd have these showing horses, and the first prize would be a £20 Tesco voucher. But that would give her such pleasure that her horse had won a class at the Royal Windsor Horse Show that she would have probably helped breed, because she was so fascinated by the breeding side of all horse breeds. And you look at what that is such an important part of her life. And I think that's why the horse world will miss her, because she loved
above all else, our Queen. As we mourn her loss, we should also treasure her life, our longest serving and greatest ever monarch. Above the clashes of politics, she stood not for what the nation fought over, but what it agreed upon. In crisis, she reassured us, reminding us that we are all part of something that
Manchester United took on Arsenal, made it 4 wins, Graham, on the bounce, ending Arsenal's 100% start to the season. Where is your thinking with this morning, Graham? Is it a reality check for Arteta's men, or is it a statement to the Manchester United doomsday critics?
I think it's a bit of both. I think if we start with Man U, I think after the first 2 games, losing in the manner in which they did at Brentford, I think it was maybe a wake-up call for the new manager. I think he'd have looked at his players and thought, we're going to have to take people on a proper end-to-end game of football because we've got better to play. Is that how Man United supporters want the team to play? No. I take the way I want to play, and it's working from today.
Well, 3-1 they won it.